But we have so many good players left in the tournament, and I cannot wait to see who is going to be crowned champions of the first European Pro League tournament. So, first series of the day, we have no ladder players versus Trolljagarn. No ladder players consisting of that Windwalker DK, but they also have that Feral Druid as well available, Cavi X, going up against Trolljagarn, which is Walrix, Fnobbers, Leeksies, and Zeepai. And they showed us an Elemental Frost Mage composition that looks super strong, but also they have that LSD as well available to them, so a huge opponent for sure. Now, I haven't really seen LSD or Frost Mage Elemental Shaman go up against a Windwalker DK composition before, so I really have no idea how this is going to play out. But if it plays out anything like, you know, Shadow Priest Frost Mage, I think it's going to be in favor of Trolljagarn, but we're going to have to wait and see.
I feel like Elemental Mage is kind of new to the meta, even on Europe where it's being played reasonably extensively right now. There's 2 or 3 teams playing it on high ratings.
Right.
The strategies aren't really sussed for both sides, so we can't really fully identify its place in the meta just yet. But from what I hear and what I've seen, it does look like it has a small composition advantage over that Windwalker DK, so I would expect to see them running that. But like, if we just look at this lower bracket, you see some teams here that you really wouldn't expect to see in lower bracket. Like some of the names here, we obviously, Minpoike's team, Reawaken, did have that unfortunate couple of DCs yesterday, so that might somewhat explain it. But even if they were to win yesterday, then that would put Jamie's Turbo with all these players like Fabio, like so many BlizzCon players that could potentially be in the lower bracket of this tournament. It really does show dividends to how strong this tournament really is.
Yeah, some of the best, man. Some of the best of the best. And that being said, we did just get bombarded with a couple big subscribers. 474, who is a longtime moderator of GCDTV, has subscribed. So thank you so much, 474. Thank you so much for that support, and I love what you do. We also got a 12-month resub from XX Jimenez XX. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, man, but I really do appreciate the 1-year resub, man. It's our anniversary. Oh my gosh, the 1-year resubs are coming in hot. We also got 11th month resub from Heroic. Thank you so much, Heroic. Oh my gosh, 11 months in a row. That's an absurd amount of time. And the only Mr. Holinka has resubscribed for 12 months in a row as well. Thank you so much, Brian, for that support, man. I really do appreciate that, being a part of the team since day one. But I'm super stoked to jump into these games right now. But Supa, what are your predictions for no ladder players versus Trolljagarn? I know I'm kind of throwing you under the bus there with this weird composition matchup. But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like LSD can do pretty well too against Windwalker DK, even if they had to play that. The extra support that the Warlock brings with his gateway, so the Druid has another gap closer, is really strong. But the mage version could be strong as well. Polymorph is going to sit full, whereas Sphere is obviously going to break since they're dotting all the targets, most likely.
Right.
So mage might give them more support. Really, I guess it depends on what they're used to practicing. They seem to be pretty competent at both comps, so it's kind of a surprise. And really, the Windwalker DK team is the one that needs to be prepared for either.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that's one of the advantages Trolljagarn have, right? Because even though the 4 players in their team don't really multi-class, the 2 comps are quite different. Like Ellie Mage and LSD, you have to prepare your mindset for completely different games. Like one of the comps is like this one-shotty, super bursty, kill you in a deep kind of comp, and then on the other hand you have LSD, which is maybe a slower, more attrition dampening game. So they do have answers to quite a lot of the teams here, and I think they've got a good chance to go far. But obviously this DK Windwalker has also been quite impressive, winning the mirror yesterday against the 2.9k team, and then actually taking games and coming kind of close against the Shadow Place, so it should be interesting.
That's a good point. You know, this Windwalker DK has shown us that they've been playing this composition in this matchup for so long that, even when the composition advantage might not be in their favor, they're still definitely able to, put up a fight. Trolljagarn, they're going to choose to go with the LSD instead of the Frost Mage. And, we're going to see how that pays off for them. Obviously, these guys are a lot more familiar with this matchup than I am, especially considering LSDs, they're kind of rare in the North American ladder. I mean, there's definitely teams that have the LSD equipped, but being a main composition LSD is quite rare. So I'm really excited to see how this matchup plays out.
Yeah, Zipai has been playing LSD basically his entire life, so he's going to be very comfortable in this matchup. But we can see no ladder players just charging in, not afraid to get their hands dirty here. Fnaber's positioning far away from Walrix, but he does get gripped back. We see the Pillar of Frost popped out from Cervantes. He's looking to build a lot of pressure, but a nice Displacer Beast from Fnaber's is going to break up the gap. Walrix actually trinketing out of that to try and land a Shadow Fury, I think, to break up some of the damage early on here. Now choosing to pop his Dark Soul. He really wants to put Linu on the back foot or force out his Avenging Wrath, but not too much damage actually out just yet from Walrix. He's looking to set up a haunt here, maybe onto Cervantes. Zipai just lightning bolting him, already getting him down to about half HP. I think Linu actually faked the counterspell though, so he should be able to get some casted heals off and save Cervantes without burning too many cooldowns.
It looks like this is quite an interesting strategy from Trolljagarn right now. They did just pop their dots on. They can get too much done, but the wings is now forced out. They're trying to get their dots onto Linway, which is going to put them under a lot more pressure. But they constantly have to worry about these swaps to Fnaber. Fnaber is acting very appropriately right now. Though every time he gets gripped in, he's instantly blinking out, so they don't get the opportunity to even force his back skin just yet. They're trying to get some pressure onto Warwick's, but there isn't too much happening. Like this LSD seems quite tanky. We do see the Ironbark and the Snowing Wall coming onto Warwick's there, so maybe Fnaber trying to preemptive. Get some stuff up before the Hodge. But Linui's wings are running out now. So we could see Cervantes starting to drop low. He's already at about 50%. We see the full bash come onto Linui. That's his bop. He can't bubble for 30 seconds now. Maybe this team should be trying to push in and get some damage on him.
I really like that they're not dotting Fopsy. They're trying to use just crowd control on him alone to slow down the pace of the game, and they definitely want to slow it down so that Fnaber's doesn't get caught off guard, as we can see a lot of burst coming into Walrix. Fnaber's just spam casting regrowths to stabilize here. We can see Fopsy chasing Walrix behind the pillar for a second here, and Cervantes actually splitting his damage onto Zipai, but a full clone lands onto Fopsy. Linaway needs to be careful here. He might get swapped to himself. He's already down below half HP. I'm not sure if he actually ended up getting locked on that heal. I believe he did. He's still dipping kind of dangerously low right now, below 50%. We see another full hex onto Fopsy. Zipai's just been landing these on cooldown, really slowing down Fopsy's damage. Now a lot of burst over onto Cervantes. He could easily go down here. Linaway popping that Ore Mastery to try and get some cast, but it's not enough. It's a little bit too late, and no ladder players are going to go down to Trolljagarn. In game number one, you know, the strategy of not dotting the Windwalker Monk worked wonders for them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like no ladder players had zero opportunity to gain momentum in that game. It looked very one-sided from this point of view. But I mean, like their main strategy looked like they were trying to find openers on the sorry, I'm trying to remember Fnabery in this case, and he did a great job, you know, being really slippery.
Yeah, Fnaber's was really, really fast with his reactions. I think he was even able to blink on some of the grips like so fast that they couldn't get the Hodge on him when he got gripped in, because he blinked mid-air during the grip puff, which is really very good for him, because obviously they need to land every single grip on him if they want to go him, because otherwise he's just going to have skin up for every other one. So
right.
Really well played by Fnaber there. But I really like the strategy coming out from Trolljagarn. Like they just CC the monk the whole game, and then try to put Linway behind with every CS that they have in their utility. So that's well played by those guys.
Now, if you guys are just, I know there's quite a few of you. I got a lot of messages last night, actually. It's like, you know, I absolutely love GCDTV, and, like, the tournaments are awesome, but I have no idea what you guys are talking about sometimes. And I'm like, I guess, like, we do kind of get into our own, you know, jargon. But, if you guys don't know, LSD is a composition that's pretty notorious for being really tanky and has a lot of survivability and has the ability to really, you know, kill you slowly, you know, rot you down slowly. And going up against a Windwalker DK, that's kind of a very cleavy team, a team that has a lot of consistent pressure that can come out of nowhere. And yeah, I mean, seeing these two compositions match up to one another, it definitely seems like the LSD, the tankier, rot down, more controlling of a team is definitely has an advantage. It would seem so far, anyway.
Yeah, I actually happen to know that Linway is known for playing multiple healers. I'm not sure if he signed up multiple classes, but he's very high rated on the ladder as both a Holy Paladin and also a Resto Druid. So I'm thinking, if Trolljagarn carry on with this strategy of Zipai trying to hex Fopsy, and there's no Dispel on this team right now, and also the Holy Paladin is struggling a little bit with the spread pressure, maybe it would be nice to see him on that Resto Druid, but I'm not sure how much they practiced it, so that could be a possible option for them there.
Yeah, having that versatility is a big deal. But here we go, game number 2. They're going to choose Dalaran Sewers. When I say they, I mean no ladder players. A much smaller map. Maybe this is what they need to be able to lock down Fnobber. We're going to find out here. The game has started.
Ooh. Fopsy just charging across the map right away, eating a full bash. He does decide to nimble brew out to break it out. Fnobber's actually using a preemptive Ironbark to reduce damage on Zeepai here, maybe expecting a lot of damage, but they're going to swap their targets to Walric. Smart swap from no ladder players. They're setting up a bit of CC on Fnobbers with that paralyzed now into the legs. We've been making another swap. No ladder players are all over the place. Good defensive fears from Walrics, but it's just a little bit too early. There's the Fist of Fury stun to follow it up. Fnobber's actually forced to trinket out of the Strangulate as he was silenced with Nature's Swiftness up. So he does get the heal off, but he's actually falling incredibly behind here at the moment. Walrix is forced to gate back to the box, trying to get it out of range of these melee DPS. They will stabilize for now, but Fnobbers has basically traded his entire arsenal of cooldowns.
Yeah, this small map's already paying dividends for no ladder players. They were able to get that perfect connection to Fnobbers that they were trying so desperately for last game, and actually forced the Barkskin and the Trinket out. But now we see the teams are slightly more spread out, as Linui has decided he has to go back. He has no wings available. He has to try avoid those CSs right now, but they really need to connect to Fnobbers again. I feel like that incap might have been a chance to grip him in. Fopsy really needs to reach him with. They are actually committing the fists to work, but I think he walked out of them. That's slightly unfortunate for no ladder players. We do see the Snarn Ward coming out from Fnobber onto work. It looks like he should be fine for now. And we do see the Demon Soul coming out. There's no bubble for Linway. There's no wings. He's in a lot of trouble right now. And Fopsy is just getting CC'd. They can't get anything done.
I'd really like to just see Cervantes just walk away. Like, he doesn't need to be in the middle of the fight right now. Just pull back, and now he's deciding to do that. Pull back to his healer, stay behind the pillar for a couple of seconds, try and recover, wait for their cooldowns to make a push. As Barkskin and Ironbark are now available for Fnobbers, it's not likely that he's going to go down too easily. Seems like they're pressuring Walrix in it right now with that Fist of Fury stun out from Fopsy. We can see the Ironbark was used by Fnobbers to deflect the damage as Walrix portals back and begins running. Zeepai's just been turreting the entire game, though, and Cervantes still down below 50%. Linaway getting locked out on his heal, I believe, by Zeepai. It could be in a bit of trouble here. They choose to actually bot Fopsy out of a bash, I believe, but Fnobbers pushes in. He lands a full clone over onto Linaway. Will he be able to keep the clone chain going? Doesn't look like he wants to. Maybe they don't even need to. Linaway needs to try and get some casts off, but Walrix is holding on to his interrupt, playing it very smart. He knows that Linaway needs to cast, and he's just holding on to that counterspell. He's not going to use it at all. Full Hex actually used onto Linaway there. Unfortunately, it broke instantly, so they're going to lose a little bit of crowd control that they would have otherwise had for Fopsy, which is opening an opportunity for no ladder players to get some damage here onto Zeepai. He's forced to use his Shamanistic Rage to reduce the damage. Will that even be enough? Nobber's actually forced to use his Nature's Swiftness. Now he's caught into the Paralyze. No ladder players are just doing a lot of damage right now to Zeepai. He's finally going to be able to recover. Now we see the Hex rotated to Fopsy instead to control him a little bit, and Cervantes sees that he's just pulling back to the pillar. He knows that without the Windwalker Monk's support, he's not going to get too much done. He's actually gripping Walrix down below out of line of sight, maybe trying to get a little bit of cheeky damage here. Snobbers is very far away. Fopsy actually trading his Diffuse Magic, so he is a viable swap target. Fopsy's going to have to be a little bit careful with how aggressive he's playing, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, in the mix of all that as well, Fnopper's actually used his Trinket on the incap when he was trying to save Zeepai, so they do have an opportunity here. I would really like to see this team push in. We do see the Hodge onto Fnobbers. They're trying to get to Zeepai, but unfortunately the Skin Ward coming out from Fnobbers preemptively on that Hodge means that he should be okay. The Strangulate to follow that up. He's dropping down to 70%. The Skin Ward might just be the difference between them getting the kill or not. They do see a good kick onto the Hex. Fopsy should be out of CC right now, but it looks like they're just kind of backing off. He's trying to get some damage onto Fnobbers, but I wonder how much he's going to get done. A good fake by Fnobbers might have caused Fopsy to go into that clone there, but it doesn't look like he's going to be. Like, no ladder players, right now they look quite stable. They have the wings up for 15 seconds. I'd love to see a swap onto Fnobbery, but they're just not doing it. They're going for Zeepai, they're going for Warwick. I'd really like to see, they had a full Hodge on him there in normal form, just away from them. They could have easily swapped him, but we do see Warwick's dropping low. They do kick the fear, there's no peels coming out. That's the Dark Regen, he's down to 50%, but it does look like he's going to stabilize with that Regen and Snow Ward.
Yeah, it's a good trade from Walrix. He knew that Fnobbers didn't have a lot of cooldowns remaining. We see Fnobbers looking for a clone, but a nice Paralyze from Flopsy is going to interrupt it. Fnobbers actually still looking for a clone. He's going to manage to land that onto the Windwalker Monk. That's going to slow down the pace of the damage here, and Cervantes does not want to run with his Pillar of Frost cooldown up, and he's choosing to charge forward. And it looks like they're looking for a kill onto Walrix. Not very many cooldowns remaining for him to survive. He could easily go down. That Soul Reaper barely triggering out of range to execute Walrix. Walrix portaling away, and, you know, Strangulate oddly used on Walrix there isn't going to accomplish too much, and now that's not available for Fnobbers, so no ladder players might be losing a window of opportunity to win the game as they are beginning to rot down to Trolljagarn spread pressure. Cervantes caught at 27%, trying to get back to the pillar with Linaway. That AMS should buy him enough time to get a little bit of healing. They need to stay alive for at least 5 more seconds for Linaway's big healing cooldowns to come back up. Fopsy's just getting cloned. I don't think he's played at all this game. He's been CC'd very well by Trolljagarn. We can see Linaway, though, now fully recovering with his cooldowns, and the pressure is beginning to switch as we see Shamrage, Ironbark, and Barkskin used at the same time. Trolljagarn just trading their entire defensive arsenal, which means that the next stun combination might be an opportunity for no ladder players to take a win.
Troya, I think Fnobbers must have mispressed his backskin there because he actually instantly cancelled it. Either that or he's using Aura Mastery backskin, but I somewhat doubt that against this comp. But I like this strategy coming out from no ladder players because every single time they don't have wings up and they're in trouble, they're trying to get behind the pillar. We did talk about it a little bit. Maybe they can play this dampening game. I mean, we'd like to see them get the swaps onto Fnobbers, but it looks like there's no wings available. Cervantes is forced into the AMS on 30%. He could die here. He needs to get behind the pillar. He needs to get back to Linway, but he's just in the middle tanking damage. The CS is still available for Trolljagarn. This is really, really bad for them. He's got the Aura Mastery up. It's about to expire, and he can't top him up. He's 50%. Linway has to push in for the Hodge on Fnobbers so they can get some pressure onto Zepai or Warwicks. They're just trying to get some counter pressure, but I feel like he might just go down.
Oh my!
He gets locked on the Shadow Fury. The shield procs on 1%. He's actually going to survive. That was so, so close.
That was so close, but he is going to make it out alive. Can they turn this pressure around is the question. Cervantes has been on the back foot the entire time, just never even above 50% health. Fopsy's just eating so much crowd control. Zepai looking for a Hex here, and he's going to land that full Hex, and Fopsy doesn't have a trinket. He's just going to have to go ribbit, jumping around, waiting to get out of that Hex. Linaway getting pressured now by Zepai. Zepai just going wherever he pleases, getting now a little bit pressure onto Cervantes. Walrix playing it kind of cautiously. He doesn't seem to want to go behind the pillar. They're just trying to attrition their opponents, Linaway's mana pool, and win with raw damage. And it seems to be working for them so far. Linaway popping his Avenging Wrath. They're looking to make a move here onto Trolljagarn. Walrix caught into a stun. We see Fnobbers caught into a silence as Shamrage and Ironbark traded once again at the same time. If no ladder players can stay aggressive, stay in the face of Trolljagarn, maybe they can force out Fnobbers' Trinket or maybe get a bursty kill. Without that Pillar of Frost from Cervantes, though, it's going to be very hard. They're trying to do the best that they can right now, I think, onto Zepai. Now choosing to paralyze him, trying to interrupt some of his incoming damage, as Walrix did have his Dark Soul damage rolling. We see the Fist of Fury coming out. Fnobbers getting gripped into a stun. He's choosing to Trinket out of that right away as they have no major damage reduction cooldowns available for Walrix. Walrix there getting interrupted on his Haunt. His damage can be paused temporarily, but another full Hex onto Fopsy. Triple Shadow Fury out from Walrix as well, forcing Linaway to bubble and immune any incoming damage to try and save Cervantes at the same time. Fopsy just getting cloned up, and Trolljagarn just have so much control over the game right now that I have no idea how no ladder players are going to take this game back. Linaway gets locked on his heel. He's down to 30%. He has no way to immune incoming damage. He's trying to line of sight, get some cast off, and he seems to have recovered himself, but that means that Zepai just turns around and starts to turret Cervantes. Linaway and Cervantes still in a lot of trouble. No major cooldowns for about 15 more seconds. This is the Ascendance out from Zepai. He's looking to burst them down very hard as the Shadow Fury follows it up. Linaway could easily go down. He's trying to cast the heals. There are interrupts available, but they can't get in line of sight to land them, and he is still alive, just hanging on, clinging on for dear life. No ladder players battling their hearts out to stay in this game.
I feel like no ladder players, if they're going to play this dampening game, they need Cervantes to be more behind the pillar. It's just putting Linaway so far behind when these wizards just turret into him. But they are now starting to get the pressure. Zepai has no wall available for 40 seconds. There's no trinket on Fnobbers. This could be a kill window for no ladder players. He's down to 40%. A full Hodge comes out of that. It looks like this execute might proc if they can just get some damage going. But excellent CC onto Fopsy. A full Hex sitting there from Zepai. He's still not out of the woods, though. He's down to 60%. Fnobbers' mana is also low. But we do have to look at the other team. Wings is now expiring from Linaway. They might have overextended for this kill. They might have felt like it was their last-ditch attempt. They have no cooldowns on Cervantes. He's down to 30%. There's no AMS for 15 seconds. The Aura Mastery comes out, trying to avoid those interrupts, but a nice fear from Warwicks. His Demon Soul is still active. The AMS is going to do nothing. It's just going to expire. He's down to 50%. They have nothing to avoid the CC, and he looks like he's pushing for a bash. A nice Hodge, though. Make sure that Fnobbers doesn't get to do anything. Zepai dropping low now, though, through his shield wall. We also see the skin on the wall. They're just stacking every single defensive cooldown. Trolljagarn know that they're going to win the game so soon. There's no wings available still for 20 seconds, and Cervantes and Linaway are both low, and Linaway's also
Yeah, Cervantes and Linaway are really running out of time at this point. Zipa is just teeing off lightning bolt after lightning bolt, dishing out a lot of damage. Linaway still playing this game out to his best extent with nothing left. He's down to 24% HP. I don't know how he's going to make it out alive. Even Cervantes running down, it's not enough to make it out. And Trolljagarn are going to claim victory in game number 2 on the map selection for no ladder players. The small map isn't going to be enough. Trolljagarn just not dropping their control whatsoever in this matchup, and it seems to be working for them as long as they can prevent Fopsy from doing what he would like to do. It seems very hard for no ladder players to get any damage rolling.
You know, I think it's rather odd that they didn't look at the Druid more, no ladder players, because in that opener, they got every single button. They got a crazy efficient trade in that opener, but they couldn't find the opportunity maybe to extend and cash in on that opener. But I really do think that in this matchup, they're going to be forced to play risky. I think they're going to have to, I mean, we've seen Windwalker DKs in North America. They often like run in and they'll trade just like their bubble just to stay in their face longer. Because I think that as the game gets longer, I don't think that they get dampening advantage. Definitely doesn't seem like that anyway.
They must have come into the game with a strategy, right? Like, I think they are playing for that long game. Perhaps they think they can get behind the pillar, and maybe they do think they can dampen them. They did create kill opportunities, but I completely agree with you. I think they did have the opportunities to swap it over to Fnobber. Fnobber did push in for bashes sometimes, and if they were fast there, they got a couple of hodges out in normal form. I'd love to see them just swap it over, at least force the skin, and then maybe try get to him again, maybe using some of those defensive cooldowns offensively.
Every time I saw that hodge, like in uniform, I'm like, oh, no, they're not going. All right.
Yeah.
I still think even if they do, he's got a lot of escape options with the Warlock on his team. He can use his Hellstone as his evacuation heal. He's got his gateway to jump through. He's got a lot of gap closers. He's very slippery. So I don't know. I almost feel like killing the Elemental Shaman like they were doing might be the best option. Windwalker DK actually excels at killing DPS spec Shamans. They can usually burst them even through their defensive cooldowns if they can line up a good CC chain on the Druid. So I think they need to focus better on CCing Fnobbers, and if they're attacking Zeepai and preventing him from hexing, it seems like the hex is the single ability that's preventing Fopsy from accomplishing too much. So I'd really like to see no ladder players play it out to sit on Zeepai, set up CC chains on Fnobbers, and just try and kill Zeepai and prevent him from hexing, because that seems to be the primary issue for Fopsy.
That's true. They are locking down that Windwalker Monk quite well. That's a good point.
Yeah, this small map I thought was meant to be their way, because they actually were landing some off panels on Zeepai at important points, and they were able to swap between the DPS, but it wasn't enough. I mean, they have 2 interrupts, there's a bunch of Fizz, a bunch of Hexes coming out, there's even a lot of Cyclones coming out from Fnobbers, honestly, so every time they go into the open, they just get turreted with damage in CC. Fopsy's just getting spam CC, Savannah's just taking so much damage. I'm not too sure how they create these kill opportunities without pushing in a little bit more. But we'll see.
This is their last opportunity. They're down 2 games. They've been in this position before and came back, so let's see if they can do it again. We see a paralyze on Fnobbers. This is the start of a good CC chain. A lot of pressure onto Zeepai. He sees it coming. He's going to use his Shamanistic Rage. Are they going to use the Strangulate? Seems like they're going to hold on to it. Ironbark and Shamanistic Rage have been overlapped onto Zeepai to prevent him from going down here in the opening stages of the map, or the match, and this is exactly what no ladder players were looking for. This is going to create an opportunity to either force Fnobbers Trinket or maybe even just kill through it. Zeepai now popping his Ascendants to try and get some counter pressure. Fnobber's actually got a nice Cyclone onto Linaway, and Cervantes is feeling the heat. He's trying to get out of line of sight here. His Save with the Light Shield has procced. Linaway should be able to pick him up, and they need to go now pretty soon, or Walrus is going to start doing a lot of damage after Cervantes' defensive cooldowns. Here comes the next setup onto Zeepai. They forced Fnobber's Trinket. They're going to grip him in. He displaces away. It's going to be very hard to heal Zeepai right now. Fnobbers needs to get some hard-casted heals off. He is caught into that paralyze. Zeepai has just been counter-pressuring the entire time. Despite being the focus target, he's still doing quite a lot of damage. He's looking for a Hex. Fopsy's able to kick him on that, and I really think this target selection of Zeepai is going to work a lot better here. The next setup, they're looking to get Shamanistic Rage, and the next setup after that, they're actually looking to get the win. They need to survive to that point, though, and Cervantes is maybe overextending too much. He's caught in the middle of the map, and Zeepai just procking him down to death. Linaway, unfortunately, I think Ore Mastering maybe a little bit too late to try and deal with the interrupts. That strategy seemed to be working a little bit better for them, but it was a risk for Cervantes to be on the open like that with Linaway not trading any cooldowns.
Yeah, offensively it looked quite good going on Zeepai, but Warwick's was just free to do whatever he wanted. Like had all his Dark Souls, he had his CEST pet up the whole time. They didn't force the Void Walker out this game, so they just died so much faster. And you got a feel for Linway because maybe he did use his cooldowns a little bit late there, but I mean it was so much damage coming out from this LSD.
Yeah, and there we go. That is a 3-0 victory for Trolljagarn as they move forward into the bracket, and that's got to be feeling good for them, you know. Starting off the day, looking really, really strong against no ladder players. The Windwalker DK will be eliminated from the tournament, but hopefully we'll see them again in the future, in future tournaments. Let's take a quick look at that bracket to see where we are at jumping into the next series. So far, we are in that lower bracket round 2, and no ladder players have been eliminated as Trolljagarn moves forward. Up next, we have Kanitra Tigers going up against Reawakened. That's going to be a pretty hyped matchup. We got some